The power sweep. Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Yes, a YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet. Get an isolation with the linebacker. You tell the tackle to take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man to his inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. Text us, 865-658-5824. Flying solo here on a little midday PTA. We're going to do another mock draft. And I know I explained on the last couple of podcasts that the goal here is to try to force ourselves to take specific positions in the first round to try to mix up the mocks a bit and kind of get a little bit more intel, gather a little more information in how this draft may or may not fall. Keep in mind, we're still going to do PTA live here in a little bit. It's actually going to be a little earlier tonight at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern is when we're going to be doing PTA live. So, again, we're just going to try to fly through this 7-round mock and get this done so we can gather the information. I know we already got people filing in here in the chat. William D. Lofton Sr., good to see you, buddy. SDM40 in the house. Appreciate y'all swinging through. And again, people are going, what in the world? This wasn't scheduled. We're going to do more of these as we get closer to the draft because I've got a ton of information I need to compile to finish my board. So with that being said, let me just kind of explain to you what I mean about trying to pick specific positions. So we did a mock the other day on April the 7th, right? And this was the way the mock turned out. With the first round pick and the 25th pick, we took Jerzon Newton, Johnny Newton out of Illinois, defensive lineman. Then we went Tyler Nubin in the second round. No surprise there. Christian Haynes with the 58th pick. And then we went Bo Limmer, center, at the 88th spot. The thing I want you to key in on here is Jerzon Newton. Notice we took a defensive lineman with that specific draft there, that mock on April the 7th. Now, if we slide back to, I think it was yesterday, on April the 12th, the very first pick we took ended up being Chop Robinson as we used the Pro Football Network mock draft database. And basically what happened was Chop Robinson fell in our lap, and we really, really liked that pick. I know I had told you guys and gals he was 10th on my board, so it was great value there as the board sits right now. Again, it's not completely finished, so we'll be able to kind of button that up here in the next week or so, definitely, obviously, before the draft starts. So the goal today is we're not allowed to take D-line. We're not allowed to take edge with that first pick. So what I'm going to focus on is either cornerback or offensive line. I'm sure there'll be plenty of options to choose from in the top tier of talent in that regard. So it shouldn't be no problem at all doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and kill the camera here, and we're going to go ahead and share. We're going to use PFF's database here. So for the mock draft simulator, we're going to try to go really, really fast on this one, although I am going to work my board for at least the first 3 rounds to give a fair assessment of what we've done here lately. So I'll try to keep an eye on the chat as much as I can, but understand flying solo makes things a little bit difficult. Let's go ahead and make that full screen for you all. So, all right, here we go. Let's go ahead and crank this thing up. With the 25th pick, and another thing too, the power has went out here about 2 or 3 times. We got some bad storms rolling through, so if the stream just ends, you know what happened. All right, the mob didn't get me. It was just the power went out. All right, so here we are at the 25th pick, best available. Looky here, Jerzon Newton again, Johnny Newton, 8th ranked prospect according to PFF. He's on the board. We are not allowed to take him. Right, we got to go cornerback or offensive line. The next best available prospect is Kool-Aid McKinstry, cornerback out of Alabama. Then you got Jackson Powers Johnson, center out of Oregon. If you guys didn't hear Rob Demovsky's comments earlier today, he's got someone within the building that basically they see Zach Tom as the long-term future at center. We'll see if that was a smokescreen or if that's legit, news there. I don't doubt that someone told him that, but we know it's lying season 2. So there could be a little bit of that. The front office trying to mislead people to think, okay, they're not going to take a center because they've got the center in-house. You could kind of see how these stories can evolve and cause people to make selections, I don't know, in a little bit different angle, if you will. So, but again, Jackson Powers Johnson on the board there. We've got Tyler Nubin, the 26th ranked prospect at the safety position. We have got linebacker Peyton Wilson, offensive tackle Tyler Gotton, and wide receiver Adonai Mitchell. You got Zach Frazier down there as well, one we talked about the other day with the wrestling background. So if we go ahead and work my board off of this, and the first prospect available is obviously Johnny Newton here. I'm going to go ahead and just move him off to the side because we're not allowed to select him, right? We've already talked about that. I'm going to take a quick glance here and see if some of these guys are available. Let's go ahead and look at offensive tackle. Let's look interior offensive line. All right. So Joe Alt obviously gone. I probably should let me just work the right side here real quick. Let's get this board caught up. Caleb Williams obviously gone. Let's get him out of here as he goes to the Chicago Bears. That's pretty much the only thing that's a slam dunk about this draft is definitely Caleb Williams going to Chicago. It sounds like that's the one that I heard Michael Lombardi say that's the one guy that you could just about take to the bank and go, as far as the gambling community, hey, what would you'd like to put some money on something? Be willing to do that with Caleb Williams is what Michael Lombardi said. Other than that, he has no idea what's going to happen in this draft, which is absolutely wild. Look here, we had Drake May go number 2 to the Washington Commanders. That's interesting. Then we had, like I said, Joe Alt go number 4 to the Cardinals. You had Rome Odunze go number 5 to the LA Chargers, it looks like. Okay, so Rome Odunze is off the board. I just want to work this down real quick, and then we'll kind of grab best available as we go. Marvin Harrison Jr. goes to the Giants, so they decided to not go quarterback. There's a lot of talk that they're big on Drake May if Drake May should fall to the 6th spot. Dallas Turner is the next prospect taken, going to Tennessee. Let's see where we got Dallas Turner at. I know he's toward the top here somewhere. There he is. Actually, he's in the 28th spot, a little bit lower than I thought. Let's see. We got Malik Neighbors going number 8 to the Atlanta Falcons. So Malik Neighbors is now off the board. Looking for Latu. I haven't seen him yet. I'm sure he's on down the line here. Brock Bowers, top tight end in the draft. He is now off the board. That's my number 4 prospect overall as it sits right now. Let's see. J.C. Latham goes to the New York Jets. That's several times that's happened now. It seems like there is, at least according to the PFF mock draft simulator here, they have J.C. Latham going to the Jets quite a bit. That's interesting. There may be something to that. Let's see. J.J. McCarthy is going to go to the Vikings. I know he's a little bit lower on my board if I remember correctly. Let me climb down here and grab him. So he goes before Bo Nix, obviously. J.J. McCarthy going to the Vikings. You've got Fashanu, tackle out of Penn State, going to the Denver Broncos. That's a solid pick. I've got him in the 15th spot on my board. Graham Barton, they got him listed as a tackle. Most people see him as an interior offensive line. I know Michael Wall was saying he sees him just primarily as a center. They've got him going to the Las Vegas Raiders. So Graham Barton is off the board. That's one that would be, right there towards the top of the list if we were picking with the current talent. See, Jared Verse is now gone. All right. Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver out of LSU, is going to number 15 to the Indianapolis Colts. Going to be that guy to kind of be a potential number 1 target for Anthony Richardson down there. Again, you guys know I've been pretty transparent about this. I've got Brian Thomas Jr. all the way down the 88 spot simply because of the PFF scores. Many people disagree with that, and I can understand why. I mean, you hear people rant and rave over how good he is. The numbers were phenomenal, too, as far as him being a deep threat and what he did statistically, not just grade-wise. All right, Terrion Arnold. This one hurts a little bit. Cornerback out of Alabama going to Seattle at 16. It's interesting because, we keep talking about we're actually going to do a mock draft where we trade up to the 16th pick since there was a little flurry of rumors going around that the Packers might be interested in trading up with Seattle to the 16th pick. So we're going to do that probably tonight. We're going to make that happen and just show how much it hurts the depth of draft picks if the Packers were to do that. We may turn around and end up liking it, but I think it's going to be something that's going to be kind of cause a pain in our rear end when it comes to the draft if we do give up quite a bit of draft capital to get to the 16 pick there. So what's up, Mike Berry? Good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you swinging through. So again, Terrion Arnold is now off the clock. Let me slide back up. A couple of these guys, it's interesting to see how they bounce around. I've got Terrion Arnold in the 31 spot, and I know I'm in the extreme minority with that for sure. Quinyon Mitchell's my best corner. He goes one pick later, 17 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I've got him in the 11 spot on my board. Byron Murphy, defensive lineman, goes number 18 to the Cincinnati Bengals. So Byron Murphy, the 17th best prospect off the board, had a great RAS as well. Troy Fontana, offensive tackle, going to the LA Rams with the number 19 pick. Fontana was the 18th best prospect on my board. Fuaga, I think, is still there. That's really interesting. He's probably getting ready to go, though. Amarius Mims, number 20 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's interesting. Going to get Amarius Mims in there to try to help protect for Russell Wilson and potentially Justin Fields in Pittsburgh. Let's see. There's Fuaga. Fuaga, of course, is going to go to the Dolphins. He's my 6th best prospect, and he dropped all the way to 21 in this mock. That's very interesting. Here we go. Cooper DeJean is now off the board as he goes to the Philadelphia Eagles with the 22 spot. So Cooper DeJean, let me see where I've got him at. I've got him in the 25 spot currently. All right, we're getting close. 23, Minnesota Vikings. Looks like they traded with Cleveland. They grabbed Latu. Latu is my 8th best prospect. Of course, you guys know he's in the red because of the neck injury. We don't know how that's going to play. Everyone's claiming he's healthy, but Daniel Jeremiah said there was somewhere to 18 to 20 teams that will probably take him off their board for that very reason because of the neck. So, and the next pick, of course, is Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson. He's taken in the 24 spot to Dallas. So as we pick right now, the best prospects available according to my board. Let me go ahead and close this out and just go back to all here. Again, we cannot take defensive line and we cannot take edge defender, okay, because we're trying to force ourselves to take a cornerback or an offensive line with this first pick to kind of see how it falls. According to PFF, best available is Kool-Aid. Second best is Jackson Powers Johnson at guard. We could take a safety too if we wanted to. Tyler Nubin, I feel like that's a little early for that, me personally. Peyton Wilson sitting there, a little early for that too. You got Tyler Guyton. So if we look at my board, the best player available on my board is Chop Robinson. We're starting to see him fall. Again, we took Chop with an earlier mock draft, so we're not going to do it again, right? So Chop Robinson, we're not going to take him. Our first choice would be Kool-Aid McKinstry. That lines up here with PFF. And then we got Jackson Powers Johnson with the 22 spot. That's kind of tough, man. So it comes down to those two guys. Overall, actually, it's not as tough as I thought. Kool-Aid McKinstry is definitely a tier higher than Jackson Powers Johnson, according to my board. So we're going to go ahead and take Kool-Aid McKinstry here with the 25th pick. So let's go ahead and knock that out. I agree. SDM40 said cornerback all day. So we're going Kool-Aid McKinstry with the 25th pick. And I'm going to try to make this go a little bit quicker here as we move along, but I do want to refer back to my board for the first 3 rounds at least. So here we are at 41. Can you guys guess which direction I'm going here? As we've got Tyler Nubin on the board, we got Zach Frazier. When you look at those two prospects, according to my board, Tyler Nubin is the 32nd best prospect. Okay, Zach Frazier is the 36th best. Tyler Nubin is 1 tier higher than Zach Frazier. So I think this is a no-brainer. His average draft position is 40.6. We're picking 41st. If we don't take him here, then obviously we don't get him. This is the name that just keeps popping up for me, man. It makes a lot of sense. If he's sitting there at 41, I hope that Goody pulls the trigger and takes Tyler Nubin to be that box safety alongside our boy Xavier McKinney that we picked up in free agency. So pretty much a no-brainer for me here. Best player available. He's higher, like I said, than our boy Zach Frazier. Sainris still, I'm sure he's a little lower. Someone else in that ballpark too is Ennis Rakestraw Jr., although Tyler Nubin is definitely slightly ahead of him, slightly higher than him. So let's just go ahead and do it. We're going to go Tyler Nubin, safety, with the 41st pick. All right, here we are at 58. Best player on the board, according to PFF, are Jatavian Sanders, tight end out of Texas. We got wide receiver Jermaine Burton out of Alabama. Edge defender Jonah Ellis out of Utah. wide receiver Keon Coleman out of Florida State, Jonathan Brooks, halfback out of Texas, Kyron Amagaji, tackle out of Yale, wide receiver Jalen Polk, who they're saying he is flying up draft boards right now, is what I was hearing the other day. Chris Jenkins, defensive lineman out of Michigan, Jaden Hicks, safety out of Washington State. And then you got your linebacker starting to pop up here, right? Peyton Wilson, I imagine, is already gone. Let's just take a quick look at linebacker. Edgerrin Cooper, Junior Colson, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Maurice Laufau, Tommy Eichenberg, Cedric Gray. Still got some good depth there. When you look at the average draft position, you guys know I'm using my board here. Edgerrin Cooper is significantly lower on my board. We've kind of talked about that a lot. He's in the 83 spot on my board. Junior Colson is significantly higher. I've got him in the 52 spot. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I think he comes in at 76. Yeah, 76. And then you've got the next one will be Cedric Gray, probably. Cedric Gray's in the 63 spot. So if we're going linebacker, Junior Colson would definitely be the pick here. Let's exit that out and just take a quick look at some other needs. We still haven't taken offensive line, so let's just add offensive tackle. Let's add interior offensive line. Let's add safety. And that should be enough, right? Actually, let's just do the whole shebang here and kind of get a good grab. But let's see where Amagaji is. Tackle Amagaji. He is sitting in. Is he significantly higher? Yeah, so he's in the 50 spot, right above Junior Colson at tackle. This is what's interesting about what Rob Demovsky said, that it's obvious the Packers are looking after this year. They're looking to potentially move Zach Tom to center. And again, he could have gotten bad intel. I believe that he heard that. If that is the case and it is good intel, you got to really look at taking a tackle that you can kind of have, sit behind Zach Tom this year. And then as you move on from Josh Myers next year, Zach Tom takes over for center, and whoever you drafted early at the tackle position could take over for Zach Tom, right? So that's something to keep an eye on there. So if we look at Amagaji again, Amagaji's in the 50 spot. Jaden Hicks as a safety is significantly lower, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check here. I know I've got Jaden Hicks on here. Where is Jaden Hicks at? All right, we're going to have to do the search. Search real quick here. Let's go. Hicks is, he's in the 150 spot, so that's way too rich for me there. Hicks in the 150. We know where Cooper sits, so right now Amagaji is definitely in the lead. Let's see, Christian Haynes. I think Haynes is actually a little bit higher than Amagaji. Let's pop back up here real quick. Amagaji in the 50 spot, and then we got Christian Haynes is in the 27 spot. Wow. So what it comes down to is Christian Haynes is hands down the best player available right here on my board. There's no doubt about it. So I think right here I'm going Christian Haynes, man. I'm with you, Cody. Cody in the chat says offensive line or linebacker best available. I would be okay with either right here, right? And what it really comes down to is if you look at linebacker, if you don't go Christian Haynes here and you go linebacker, then you can get the pick of the litter. And in my case, that is Junior Colson. Personally, I think he's the best linebacker in the draft. Obviously, Peyton Wilson's already flew off the board, but I do think Junior Colson is better than Peyton Wilson by a tier or two. So if we go this route and we go guard and we wait on linebacker, then what would linebacker look like? These are the decisions you got to make. To get Junior Colson, his average draft position is 69.2. All right. Our next pick is 88th. So we're not going to be able to get the top linebacker. However, I do have a decent grade on, let's see here, who is it? Cedric Gray. He's 63rd on my board. On theirs, he's 137. So we would be able to get him easily with the later picks. So, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull the trigger here. We're going to go Christian Haynes, guard out of UConn. I think this is the right move to make here. He's best available. We're absolutely crushing this right now. Let me slide these guys over too. I'd love to see exactly where we got them for what they're worth here. Again, we took Kool-Aid McKinstry, the 19th best prospect. We got him at 25. Let's see, who was the other guy we took here? Trying to remember. Already lost. Let's see. 41 was Tyler Nubin, of course. Of course, it's my guy, right? So Tyler Nubin. Trying to put them in a separate column so we can kind of see who we took. All right, so yeah, we've taken Kool-Aid McKinstry, Tyler Nubin, and now we're going Christian Haynes, interior offensive lineman from UConn. So far, with the 25th pick, we got the 19th best prospect. With the 41st pick, we got the 32nd best prospect. And then with the 58th pick, we've gotten the 27th best prospect. So all these falling in well within that top 50 of what Goody was talking about. Typically in the first 3 rounds, they're able to grab players that are on their top 50. So that's good news for us there. I can get my pen to right here. All right, good deal. So here we are at 91 or 88. I'm sorry, 88. Look at this. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. fell. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. Is there anything else we want to look at here, though? Because, again, we like Cedric Gray, too, which there's nothing wrong with going back-to-back, back-to-back linebackers. Let's see who else is available here. I know Jackson Powers Johnson's obviously gone. Let's pull him off. Chop Robinson's gone. Pull him off. Jatavian Sanders is now gone. Best tight end in the draft. I believe he's going to be a playmaker. Braylon Trice, we're not really worried about edge at the moment. Michael Penix Jr., don't care about that. I think Tavondre Sweat's going to drop far enough, which he's probably already been drafted, to be honest with you. So let's go ahead and pull him off. Rakestraw. Let's see where Rakestraw's at. See if we got a legit shot at Rakestraw. He is gone. All right, long gone. All right, good deal. So no Rakestraw. That's okay. Tim would be upset, but that's all right. Let's see what we got at the center position here real quick. The center position, Zach Frazier is gone, right? And then Bo Limmer is still there. All right, so what it's going to come down to for me is Bo Limmer. How can we get Bo Limmer and possibly both of those linebackers? It's not going to happen, so we're going to have to kind of choose here. Bo Limmer's in the 39 spot for me, right? And when it comes to linebacker, I've got, let's see here, Cedric Gray is in the 63 spot, and I've got Jeremiah Trotter Jr. in the 76 spot. So I'm not too concerned with trying to get 2 linebackers in this situation. I think what we want to do here, we've already got a cornerback, a safety, and an interior offensive lineman. If we plan on getting Bo Limmer, let's see here. Let me take a look at one thing real quick. Cedric Gray at 63 is well worth this pick. There's no doubt about it. But they've got him projected to go 137. So there's a chance we could get him at 126, and he's a mock. The reason I'm really keyed in on Cedric Gray, the 33rd team and many others think there's 3 top mock linebackers in this draft: Junior Colson, Cedric Gray, and Trayvon Wallace out of Kentucky. Now, some people, the opinions differ. They have a wide variation of their opinion on Trayvon Wallace. The 33rd team's really high on him. Other people are very low on him. Sometimes you'll be able to get him in the 6th or 7th round. I think that's unrealistic. I think he'll go significantly higher than that, seeing that there's not a whole lot of true mock linebackers in this draft. So Cedric Gray, if we gamble and say, okay, we can get Cedric Gray at 126, then, and we got right here at the 88 spot is Jeremiah Trotter. If we took Jeremiah Trotter now, and then we tried to get our center, Bo Limmer, right, who is a little bit lower here, if we try to get him at 91, then, yeah, that'll work good. Let's do that. Let's go Jeremiah Trotter Jr. here. Linebacker now. Cody in the chat says, linebacker now. I want to see if they can push McDuffie into that mock spot. Okay, interesting. I don't think he has the height for it, although I'm sure he wouldn't be the first person that was under 6'2" to play Mike. I was just simply looking at the Jets and the 49ers and kind of the way their mocks are built, and that's kind of how they sit, right? So let's see, your Deadfish in the chat wants to take a look at offensive tackle. So if we add offensive tackle, you got Pooney there, right? Dominic Pooney. And let's see where he is at on my board. He is 54th on my board. So if we took Pooney here, that kind of shakes things up a bit. But he would definitely be – he's significantly lower than Bo Limmer on my board. As a matter of fact, he's 15 spots lower. So I'm going to pass on that. And what about Chris Jenkins? Is he gone yet? Chris Jenkins, where are you at, my friend? He must be already drafted. Let's see. Or he may or may not have went. Why did the Dolphins forfeit their draft pick? That's interesting. Oh, that must be where they got in trouble. Got it. I was like, wait, did they not make their pick in time on a mock draft? What are we doing here? So where's Chris Jenkins at? Did he already go, guys? Yeah, there he is, 66. Okay, so Chris Jenkins is definitely gone. All right. It's tough, man. Essentially, what we got to decide between is offensive tackle, center, and linebacker. Although center, according to my board, hands down, Bo Limmer is the best player of all of those that we just talked about. Now, if you want to try to get Pooney, he's going to be gone at 93, most likely. We pick again at 91, so we could grab him in a second. The one guy that we are going to miss out on is Jeremiah Trotter Jr., although he's not a Mike. He would probably be playing Will, would be my guess. So, it's tough. I hate to do it. I'm going to pass on Jeremiah Trotter Jr., all right? And we're just going to stick to my board here. And we're going to go with Bo Limmer. I believe that's the route we need to go here. If we go Bo Limmer, although he's going to drop to 107, yeah, we got to do it now if we're going to do it. Let's go off the PFF's projection here and make sure that we don't miss out on somebody just because their system sees them a little bit different. So if we kind of project this, we're going to go – if we go Pooney now, right, and then we go Limmer, and then we try to get our boy Cedric Gray as that mock backer. I think that's the way we need to go. Let's do it. So let's go Pooney here at 88. So we're going to go Dominic Pooney. Again, he's the 54th best prospect on my board. We're going to take him now. So we got us an offensive tackle. All right. Now we're going to go potentially get the center of the future here, kind of loading up on offensive line if we do it this route. I kind of like it, though, to be honest with you, man. We slide down and take – did we lose? No, there he is. So Bo Limmer's going to be gone at 107, and we're banking on Cedric Gray still being there at 126. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go Bo Limmer here at 91. Again, that's a center. So we get a future center there, someone who could potentially play. All right, now this is where it gets interesting, man. The interior offensive line are plenty right now. This is really, really interesting. Like Cooper Beebe's the 35th best prospect on my board. He's slightly higher than Bo Limmer. It's just we already took an interior offensive lineman. That's why we chose Bo Limmer, because they're in the same tier. And did we lose our boy? I think we lost him, didn't we? Did we lose Cedric Gray? That's going to hurt if we did. I don't see him. He must still be here. Cedric Gray. Look at that. Bang, it worked. All right, so at 126, we're going with according to the 33rd team, the second best mock linebacker in this draft in Cedric Gray. So let's go ahead and take him. So we get our mock linebacker to go alongside Quay in that nickel 4-2-5. We'll see, kind of let them battle it out and see who wins the green dot, right? 169. We're back on the clock. Again, we have taken cornerback, safety, interior offensive line, offensive tackle, center, and linebacker. So best available, Austin Reed. We're not interested in him. I'm not going to take any quarterbacks here. I'm not a big Dylan Lobb fan, to be honest with you. Drake Nugent, center. No, we've already grabbed a center. Let's just slide down here real quick. Let's look at what we haven't taken. We've taken cornerback, safety, interior offensive line, offensive tackle, center, linebacker. We haven't touched edge yet, right? We know Kingsley Enagbare is going to start kind of on the hour there. We can put running back like William Lofton mentions here. The only thing that makes me a little hesitant about running back is the fact that, they're going to basically be third on the depth chart as it sits right now, right? Unless they beat A.J. Dillon out. Of course, A.J. Dillon's contract isn't guaranteed. They may cut bait with him if they get a couple better options. Nonetheless, we'll add them to the list here. So we add running back. We got edge. What is another position? We need kind of that slot corner / safety. Let's put safety back on. Let's put corner back on. And let's see what else we got here. Linebacker, not really as concerned about it. I think we've loaded up on offensive line plenty, man. We took a center, a tackle, and an interior offensive line, so we're good there. Let's go D-line. Need to take a look at D-line. Just about everything, really, right, guys? Heck, let's put linebacker on there, too. That filters it out a little bit. All right, so they've got Dylan Lobb. I know I'm not, like, horrible on him. I don't know, man. I'm just not a big fan personally. And if it came down to me having to trust my board, I would do that. But Dylan Lobb on mine is in the 115 spot, so a little bit lower. Dylan Johnson, the same type of thing. Nehemiah Pritchard. Let's see if we can find him real quick. Where is Nehemiah Pritchard at? He is in the 206 spot, so nowhere near where we would need him for this pick right here, as we're picking at 169. We don't like that. Braden McGregor, edge. Let's see kind of where they've got him at on my board here. Braden McGregor's in the 202 spot, still a little bit of a reach. Jalen Simpson. Let's see what we got there. He is in the 124 spot. That's the best one yet. So Jalen Simpson at 124 is the top choice right now. An extra safety. He's lower. He's lower. Jordan Jefferson. Let's see here. Frank Gore Jr., I think he's significantly higher on my board, I thought. Right now it's going to be Jalen Simpson, safety. Let me write him down real quick. And he is in the 124 spot. We got plenty of time. We're at the 30-minute mark. We'll go rapid fire here in a minute. Let's see if we can find our boy Frank Gore Jr. He's in the 167 spot. So far it's Jalen Simpson. Yeah, I think that's the pick here, man. Yeah, Prince, I wouldn't be opposed to trading back either. I'm trying to keep trades out of these mock drafts just to kind of keep it a little more, I don't want to say realistic because we know there's going to be a lot of movement on the boards. It's just, the goal with these exercises is to kind of see how the board falls, right? And when you start trading and stuff, you're kind of manipulating that a little bit, which it's a good thing in real life, right? But in these exercises, it doesn't give you any information in that regard. Let's look at Jawan Briggs real quick. Jawan Briggs. Every time I do one of these two, I find someone that's not on my board, and he is one. So we need to add him. Jawan Briggs needs to be worked up. Just 1 second, guys. Yeah, Jawan Briggs. All right, cool. So we'll add him to the board next. I think right here I may be going Jalen Simpson, to be honest with you. That's the one that's kind of popping to me right now out of all these positions that we've kind of lined up. Frank Gore Jr. a little lower. Let's see where Omar Brown is, because that's a guy with some versatility, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he's in the 223 spot, so that's significantly lower. Johnny Dixon. Let's see where Dixon is. Yeah, he's in the 201 spot. That's not good. Is our boy already gone to that we always take? Josh Newton. Josh Newton's like he is always my safety valve here, which is hilarious. I think I may have tweaked everything. There's Trayvon Wallace. Where's Trayvon Wallace on mine? He's in the 174 spot. That wouldn't be bad. So we're going to go Jalen Simpson here. That's what we're going to do. We don't want to reach too far and drag this out. I'm going to go Jalen Simpson, safety out of Auburn right here. So we got us another safety to put on this defense. All right, so now we won't take any more safeties. Again, let's add back to the list. Let's go corner. We already got our offensive line taken care of. We still need an edge. Could potentially need another linebacker. We definitely need a running back at some point. And defensive line. So Brennan Jackson, Steel Chambers, Frank Gore Jr. Now we're at the 202 spot. Is our boy Trayvon Wallace still there? He is. He's projected at 235. So if we penciled Trayvon Wallace in at our 219 spot. I want to go ahead and do that and get us another mock there. So we're going to go Trayvon Wallace at 219, linebacker. Should be able to make that happen. There's Jacob Scott Dallas Scan. I bet he's hating that we ain't even looking at him right now. Let's see, Johnny Dixon, Tyron Hopper, Frank Gore again. Where was Gore at on my board? Frank Gore's in the 167 spot. Where is Isaiah Davis? I want to know where Isaiah Davis is. So he's projected to go 226. If I remember correctly, too, we really liked Isaiah Davis. So let's see here. Davis. That's one I don't have on my board. I made a note last night, didn't follow up, so we need to do that. So we're going to add Isaiah Davis, running back, to the board. All right. So right now, Trayvon Wallace, we know we're taking him at 219. Isaiah Davis won't be available till later as well. So if we were to take Isaiah Davis, let's say at 219, and we took Trayvon Wallace at 202, that might make the most sense. Let's look at him one more time. Wallace, 235, actually the opposite. I think what we're going to do here, gang, I think let's go ahead and take Trayvon Wallace, linebacker out of Kentucky. Again, PFF isn't very high on him. On my board, he's significantly higher. I know the 33rd team has him as like a borderline top 50 pick, which is just wild to me. I think that is quite a bit higher than he needed to be. But I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to go Trayvon Wallace and Isaiah Davis is kind of the plan here. So if we slide down, Isaiah Davis is projected to go higher than Trayvon Wallace. So let's go ahead and take Isaiah Davis. That's going to be our running back. Adam Block in the chat. Kentucky, though, that's right, man. A little bit of bias there, right? Now, with Trayvon, the fact that they're seeing him as a true mock and the 33rd team has him so high, it's like there's something those guys are seeing in him. I've heard rumors, too, that he's going to start going up the board quite a bit here as well. But this cracks me up. Margin Cron trying to get everybody in trouble. Where's our quarterback at? Don't be surprised if Goody takes a quarterback, man. That's something that could definitely happen. So if we go running back, Isaiah Davis here at 219 or at 202. The only other person I wanted to look at here real quick, 202 with him, would be Miles Sowell. I want to see where he's at on my board. That's a name I haven't mocked very often. So make sure I'm spelling his name right. M-U-A. Yeah, he's in the 213 spot, so that doesn't make sense. All right. I like it. Adam said every mock I've done, I've taken the quarterback with the last pick. They probably, from our perspective as a fan, it kind of felt like they probably could have taken Sean Clifford with the final pick of the draft last year, but it's obvious the Packers seen something. They heard something that someone else was going to take him in the 5th round, and they kind of leapfrogged him. I thought that was probably the most interesting pick of the entire draft, to be honest with you. All right, so let's do it. Let's waste no more time. We're going to Isaiah Davis here at 202. We got us our running back, and then we're going to go Trayvon Wallace right here to make sure we get him another mock linebacker. He's, like I said, he's projected to go 235, so he won't be there at 245. Let's go ahead and knock that out. So we took running back and linebacker as well. Good deal. I like the fact that we picked up 2 mocks. That way you can have Isaiah McDuffie and Quay play the will. You can let these 2 rookies battle it out for the mock, although I think with this specific mock draft here, it's going to be Cedric Gray that wins out there, most likely. So Kenny Logan Jr. coming in here. Let's see where we got him at. I think I just worked him up earlier today. If I remember correctly, I think I added him to the board finally. Yeah, so he's at the 219 spot. Not great. Let's see, Rasheen Ali, we already got our running back. We do need a defensive lineman, right? So let's comb through the defensive lineman. Evan Anderson there in the 235 spot. None of those guys really grabbed my attention. I think I did Gabe Hall. Gabe Hall, 194. That might be him. D-line, Gabe Hall is 294. Or I'm sorry, 194. That'd be horrible. What are we doing? 194 there. Crumity, I think I'm saying that name right. He's in the 228 spot, so he's significantly lower. Tim Smith is the most common name you'll ever hear in your life. So, yeah, hands down, unless Evan Anderson is significantly higher. Let's see here. No, actually not on my board. So that'd be defensive lineman Evan Anderson. All right, let's see here. Evan Anderson. So, yeah, right now the top choice is going to be Gabe Hall at defensive lineman. Let's add edge, or let's go back to edge now and just take a quick look, see what we got. We got Duke at 233. You got Weaver. No. Cedric Johnson at 205. It's not bad there. On my board, I'm talking about, he's projected to go 244, so he's not even going to be there regardless. Yeah, so I think right now what it's stacking up for is let's go ahead and get us a defensive lineman to add to the room. Let's throw in Gabe Hall. Gabe Hall, again, comes in at the 193 spot on my board, I believe is what it is. So we're getting him at 245. That's pretty good value there. So we'll go Gabe Hall with that pick. We got our D lineman. And now we didn't take an edge. That's one position we did not take that we felt like we needed. So if we go edge here, you got Jeffcoat is obviously in the lead. Let's see, we got Ugwa. Nope, nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. These are all guys that are not on my board. Miles Cole is in the 249 spot. We'd be getting him at 255. That's not horrible. Anama, not on the board. I don't even know how to say this guy's name. He's in the 258 spot. See, I think right now it's going to be Ugwa. Who was it? Was it Jeffcoat? No, it wasn't Jeffcoat either. It was Miles Cole. Yeah, Miles Cole at 249 is probably the pick. Let's do it. Let's go Miles Cole, edge defender out of Texas Tech. Let's make sure we're not swinging and missing on size here. First look. 6'6", 280. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I think he's got plenty of size. So let's go Miles Cole here out of Texas Tech. Let's see what we got, guys. I don't think it was a horrible draft. When you force yourself, like I said, we made ourselves go corner with the first pick here. So let's go ahead and grab this screenshot here real quick. So that's how that draft shakes out. And really the goal is going to be to look at the end and go, okay, which draft kind of made the most sense? Which one was the most attractive to us? So with the 25th pick, we took cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama. With the 41st pick, we went Tyler Nubin, the best safety in the draft, out of Minnesota. At 58, we went guard Christian Haynes out of Connecticut. At 88, we went back to the offensive line, tackle Dominic Pooney out of Kansas. Then we went at the 91st pick, center Bo Limmer out of Arkansas. We literally went back to back to back offensive line, bolstering that up. That's interesting. 126, we went linebacker Cedric Gray to play Mike. 169, we went safety Jalen Simpson out of Auburn. 202, we went Isaiah Davis out of South Dakota State, just an absolute monster in the zone run game. They gave us a D+. We don't care. We got linebacker Trayvon Wallace in the 219 spot out of Kentucky, another mock linebacker. At 245, we went defensive lineman Gabe Hall out of Baylor. And then at 255, we went Miles Cole, edge defender out of Texas Tech. So let me know what you think in the chat there, guys. That is how it ended up. What do you guys think? Was that a horrible draft, making ourselves go with the corner first? We loaded up with offensive line. What we did miss out on is defensive line. Probably could have gotten a really good quality defensive lineman with the first pick there, in the 25 spot. But again, it's cool to do these type of exercises and kind of see, all right, let's make sure that we get certain positions buttoned up here. Adam Block in the chat says, taking multiple offensive line in a row feels very probable. Yeah, we're going to see, right, Adam? That's going to be interesting to see if that's how Goody plays it. And again, it's just kind of how the board fell. And it's so hard to do these, especially when you're by yourself and trying to update your board, because all this is going to be in a horizontal form, and I'll feel a lot better about what we can do. I'm excited to get the horizontal board finished so we can do mock drafts with it, because that's when it gets really fun. You can really find the value there. So let's see. Ron Samble in the chat agrees. He says looks good to me. So Turtle says I like JD Bertrand over Cedric Gray, but it's overall pretty good. Okay, let me take a look at that real quick. Let's see where I've got Bertrand, because I know he's significantly lower than Cedric Gray on my board. It doesn't mean my board's right. It's just, how it sits. I've got Bertrand in the 185 spot, and I've got Cedric Gray. Make sure I get this right here. Cedric Gray, I've got in the 63 spot. So we definitely differ there. So Turtles. But again, it doesn't mean I'm right, man. Let's see here. Prince in the chat says more capital at the O-line than I think they would do. Yeah, on the surface, I kind of agree with that too. That makes it a tough decision. Again, by taking Bo Limmer, you get yourself potentially the center of the future. But to me, it kind of makes you go, okay, guard Christian Haynes, that takes care of itself. You plug and play him at right guard, you're good to go. By getting Dominic Pooney, you kind of playing into what Rob Demovsky had reported, that, hey, they're planning on moving Zach Tom to center once Josh Myers is gone. If that's the case, then you let Pooney sit for a year behind Zach Tom. He gets to learn from one of the better tackles in the game, a young tackle, and be able to communicate really well with him. There's not a huge age gap there. And then he steps into right tackle, and then you kick over Zach Tom to center next year. But you got Bo Limmer too. So it's like, what's Bo Limmer just going to be riding the pine? So in that case, Dominic Pooney just kind of becomes that swing tackle, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I think on the surface, Pooney's probably going to be an upgrade over Caleb Jones, I would imagine. So it's interesting, though. I'm with you. It feels a little odd putting that much capital, especially within the first 3 rounds, right, into the offensive line. But again, it's why we do these exercises. Deadfish says, was Colson available at 58? I like Haynes, but wonder if Colson would be a better pick. I'm pretty sure Colson was not there at 58. I think it was, maybe he was. Maybe he was there. He was, and we decided let's wait on Cedric Gray. So really what that decision becomes, Deadfish, is who would you rather have at mock? Would you rather have Junior Colson or Cedric Gray? And then the difference in their ability, is Christian Haynes worth more than that difference? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of a trade-off there. So when you look at my board and how these linebackers fall, again, we've got Junior Colson in the 51 spot, and then we got Cedric Gray in the 64 spot or 63 spot. So the difference is 2 tiers. Cedric Gray is 2 tiers lower than Junior Colson. I got to adjust the tiers too. It may end up just being 1 tier, to be honest with you. But then we turned around. What we said was we would rather just reach a little bit further down for Cedric Gray, a lesser quality mock backer than Junior Colson. But we end up getting Christian Haynes, who's the 27th best prospect, according to my board. So if my board is how Goody's board sits, I love it. Goody might not even like Christian Haynes, right? But again, that's just kind of how my board says. So if Goody's board looks like this, absolutely I'm on board with the way we attacked it. If he doesn't have Christian Haynes ranked as high and he's a little bit closer to like a Junior Colson, then I can understand taking Junior Colson at 58 as opposed to our boy Christian Haynes there. And again, we waited until the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pick to get our mock linebacker. If they're as high on Cedric Gray as I am, then you're going to be able to snatch him up at some point. That'd be really cool to get him after 58. I just don't know if he's going to be there or not. And that's everything we're trying to figure out. Coach Lynn says, I love the back-to-back offensive line. He also went on to say, we took no offensive linemen last year, probably knowing how many solid offensive linemen were in this draft. We will load up again, I'm pretty sure. That's a good point, and that definitely comes into play. I mean, look at quarterback this year. the draft is supposedly loaded with quarterback, right? It's very top heavy. Next year, they're saying it's going to be a really weak quarterback class. So maybe teams will reach a bit this year to try to get someone like a J.J. McCarthy, a Bo Nix, Michael Penix, right? Because they know next year it's going to be a little bit weaker. Kind of what he's saying here, just with the offensive lineman instead of the quarterback. So Adam Block said, right, the goal is always to attack where the draft is deepest. Very good point. And Deadfish says this is a pretty nice draft. So I'm glad I didn't see anyone who disagreed with it, at a crazy level. It's not my favorite draft, but seeing that we had to choose corner, I do think you got Kool-Aid McKinstry would start. Tyler Nubin would start in the box. Christian Haynes would start at right guard. Dominic Pony would probably compete with Rasheed Walker, but end up being a swing tackle. So you got 3 starters, and then next year potentially 2 starters, right? In Bo Limmer and Cedric Gray, or I'm sorry, Bo Limmer and Dominic Pony. Cedric Gray will start in your nickel most likely, unless they do kick Quay over to Mike and put Isaiah McDuffie in at will, right? Because Cedric Gray's more of a Mike backer. So there's potentially 4 starters. Isaiah Davis will kind of be that backup running back. Trayvon Wallace will be one of those linebackers fighting for a backup spot. There's going to be injuries occur at linebacker too. That's why I'm not opposed to taking 2 or 3 linebackers in the draft. So what it looks like to me is we got 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 starters out of this draft. That's kind of exciting for a team that's already the youngest team in the league, right? Or one of, if not the youngest. So there you go. All right, cool. We're going to get out of here, guys. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. I know the chat's still lighting up here. We still got people filing in. We're now up to 216 viewers, but really appreciate everybody kind of dropping in. This was a lot of fun. And again, we're just trying to grab information before the draft gets here, and we're still finishing up the draft board, obviously. So we'll be back tonight at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern for PTA Live. If everything goes as planned, we'll do that mock draft with the guys where we actually trade up to the 16th pick. We had a listener ask us to do that to see just how bad it hurts the Packers as far as how much draft capital they got to give up to get to 16. And then once you get to 16, you got to decide who the heck you're taking, right? So that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. We got some news to cover tonight as well. So I appreciate everybody swinging through. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack, go.
The power sweep. Actually, it's the lead play in our offense.
Yes, our YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet. Get an isolation with the linebacker. Tell the tackle to take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man to his inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.